JBR Podcast.
Wake up and check it out.
Where music and life connects. Let's go!
Oh, that's awesome. This is how happy we are after fixing some technical difficulties.
It's 2025. I mean, too bad we can't fix a lot of other things.
No shit. I remember being in the studio one time, and for like 40 minutes we couldn't figure out why there was no line level on the guitar, and then we finally fucking realized I didn't have my guitar plugged in.
Oh, that. There you go. As a drummer, I don't really have that problem, but
Yeah.
so during COVID, I have like a organic, fair trade coffee company, and during COVID we had podcasts, and we called it Coffee Hang, and we would invite different musical guests in, and it was like this, right? But in the starting of Zoom, and the part we loved the best is when people were just coming in, and everyone's trying to figure out, their audio and their video, and 15 minutes of pure comedy right off the start.
Yeah, the best parts.
Now we're a little more hip to it. That was pretty funny stuff for sure.
That's awesome. So we're going to tell everybody here, this is the first podcast we've ever done where there's been 3 people. It's usually just me and the guest.
Oh,
But I'm going to leave it to, and I literally, for those that are like, hey, he just wore that shirt in the podcast last week, that's because we're recording a couple in the same day.
Yeah.
And I just got off one with Dee earlier about like a cryptocurrency coin for the music business musicians that I'm doing. And we talk a bit about it if you're interested. But I'm gonna let Dee introduce you, and I'm gonna put her on the spot.
Yeah, you are.
And tell everybody like how this connection of us, well, people know about Dee and I connected, but how you got on here. I think it's great. That's why I said to Dee,
It is.
and I gave her like 10 minutes notice. I said, hey, the podcast can do like 10 guests, right? So why don't you come on? She's like, okay.
far out. I love it. I love it.
So, okay. Yeah, Trip is exactly right. So Ed's my brother. We just found each other. Has it been 2 years now?
Oh, I think it was 3 or 4.
Was it? I don't know. I lose track of time.
I thought it was during
My-
COVID.
My squirrel is squirrely. But yeah, so I submitted my DNA to 23andMe and had one of our relatives reach out to me and say, hey, we think that you're part of our family, but we're not quite sure how. Turns out there was 6 brothers, that it could have been any one of them, and turned out to be Ed's dad. So, which surprised the hell out of my mom, apparently. She thought I was the product of something else, and nope, turned out that it was Billy. So, as she knows him. So yeah, we ended up finding each other and spent some time on the phone and became Facebook friends. And yeah, so when I said to James, like, he goes, well, tell me about this guy. I'm like, I don't really know too much about him, but like, the wild thing is, like, how this actually came about was, like, we haven't touched base since Christmas. And then I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see a post go by that you were in, where were you? Cincinnati, Chicago, something started with a C. I don't know. But
Not either of those, but somewhere else, yeah.
okay. But playing a show, and I'm like, oh, he's a musician. I should get him on the podcast with James.
Yeah, very
And
cool.
so I reached out, and it turned out that was our father's birthday.
Yeah.
So-
no way, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so like we see, like, and like apparently this would be just like him to be
So-
this wild and crazy. So yeah, here we are. Here we
What
are.
a trip, man. What a trip.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Still got to
Yeah.
get out west touring so that we can actually physically be in the same room together.
Yeah.
That's the real trip. That's the mission.
Yeah.
We gotta
Yeah,
make that
for
happen.
sure.
Yeah.
So what kind
what's
of yeah,
what kind of
James,
music?
jump in.
Yeah,
That was what I was
know.
gonna ask.
Yeah.
So honestly, like for 30 years, I've been doing music in all different genres, from pop, Latin, rock, metal, funk, like all the whole the whole array.
Whole
And
shebang.
I've been, a working musician for 30 years and played all those different kind of styles of music. And I've been playing music all over the world.
Wow,
Uh,
that's amazing.
right now, I'm doing a lot of tribute stuff. So, like, I played for a lot of different original artists. Done the bar thing like crazy, and I went to Asia, did the hotel contract thing. The last 10 years, I've been doing a ton of tribute stuff, and 90% of it into the U.S. So,
Nice.
very
Yeah,
good.
that's where the money is these days. I know a lot of guys getting into the tribute market.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I got two girls, one 15 and one 9, and they're very expensive. So,
Well, I got
I'm gonna
4
hit
girls.
things with what? 4?
Yeah, my youngest is 11, my oldest is 19.
Well, far out. You got any hair under that hat? Because this happened to me with just 2 of them. So,
Bro, not too much, man. Well, what hair? Me and my hair have been having a falling out.
nice one.
Yeah, for the drummer. Yeah. No, what hair I do have left is gray. Unless I
You're a
dye it.
blues player, is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a couple videos. Is that mostly what you do? I mean, you slay at it, so well done.
Yeah. I started out my early days kind of doing some 50s rock and roll and got into blues in the late 80s, 89, 90, and never looked back. In 95, I started touring with B.B. King's bassist after he left the band. And then early 2000, kind of went out on my own solo. And yeah, I've been stuck in the, blues, Texas blues
I love
kind
it.
of market since then. Yeah. And yeah, that's all I know. I only know 3 chords and 3 guitar notes. I just like
Hey,
play
man.
them 100 different ways.
Exactly. A lot
Fool
of guys have
everyone.
made that magic, right? For sure.
Yeah, fake it till you make it was been my thing.
So where are you out of? Where are you guys?
I'm out of Maple Ridge, just
Maple Ridge.
Maple Ridge. We're just east of Vancouver.
So I was born in Vancouver, in Surrey, and then
Okay.
moved to Prince George, and then moved to North Battleford, Saskatchewan, and then moved to Red Deer, Alberta, or just outside of Red Deer, Alberta. And that's where I ended up graduating from high school and got into music there. Prior to that,
Nice.
I was always a listener, always. Like I could tell you who played on what record, where it was recorded. My face would be buried in the back of records and the details of stuff. But playing music, I didn't really play drums till I was about 20 years old, and then I went to Red Deer College, and it took off from there. I was a plumber and a pipe fitter for my stepdad's company, and I remember when I found out that I could go to college for music. Because I came out of high school and I thought, I'm just going to be a plumber. That's just what I do now. Take over for my stepdad's company, right? And somebody told me that you could actually get a post-secondary education in music. So I looked into it. I was in Squamish, BC, building a high school, and I was in a crawl soldering water lines. And my stepdad comes down, and I said to him, I'm like, I think I'm done plumbing. I think I'm going to Alberta and go to college for music. Well, I braced for him. Because I thought he's going to knock me straight across, the crawl space. And no, man, he came at me and he's just like, I think that's the best decision. Like he could he come out and see me play, and he's like, there's something in there that you should be doing that over this. And
Wow.
I never looked back. Bought my first drum kit when I was 20 years old from Tom Lee Music in Vancouver. And I'd practice day, I'd practice night, I'd practice on my lunch breaks, I'd practice after in my dirty plumbing clothes, I'd go practice and just, really dove into it.
Nice. That's cool. Red Deer's actually got a cool little music scene.
They do, man. Well, especially when I was back there, like the Bat and
Yeah.
all these really cool room to play.
Yeah, I've played there a few times at the VAT, and
Yeah.
recently, probably 18 months ago, I played there with a saxophone player friend of mine that's a bit of a promoter too.
Yeah, who's that?
Claude.
Uh,
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it was cool. I was impressed with Alberta because Red Deer, because I loved playing Alberta. The education and that people have towards music in general is much more satisfying as a musician than anywhere I've ever played in BC. No offense to the
right.
BC fans and people, but it's just like party time in
Totally.
Alberta when
Totally.
it comes.
Yeah, and then Manitoba's got that too. They got a real
Yeah.
music scene. Saskatchewan has
Yeah.
a little kind of a there's Strip and Broadway, but yeah, Alberta, Edmonton used to be. Like I would make a living just playing Edmonton. I wouldn't even have to tour outside of Edmonton.
Yeah, Blues on White. That was
Blues on White, like
Yeah.
oh god,
In
Try-
Saskatoon, where'd you play there?
Buds,
Buds on Broadway, yeah.
Buds on Broadway, staying up in the rooms.
Oh god. You could
Ugh.
I
Anyways.
got a story. Bro, I got a
Well,
story
yeah,
about
I got
Buds.
about 12 for you. Yeah, but you
No.
go first.
So
Buds.
I was just getting into like computers and stuff in those days, and they when you tour and you got calling cards, it costs you can't keep a relationship because it's like
Right.
$800 a month to just
Sure.
call people back home, right? It's not like now where everything's free with an app, and they had a phone. I remember I went in there and it was like turned into a pay phone in that room, and I said to the guy, I was like, "What happened?" He goes, "Oh, people were like call and collect or charging it to the hotel, so they put this like paid phone thing so they couldn't."
Oh,
Yeah, they couldn't bill it to the club anymore, right?
uh,
So I'd taken the jack off the wall and I reached up and I pulled more of the phone line out and I cut the phone line, and then I spliced, because a buddy of mine's dad worked for BC Tel, right? So we used to play the wire. So I spliced all these things in and put it in so I could plug my laptop into it and dial out and charge it to the hotel. And then
what are you,
and
MacGyver?
I created a little wire splitter and I put it back up the wall and put the panel back on it.
No shit.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was yeah. Hopefully they don't send me a bill. That
Was
was
that-
probably like. Hopefully they don't send me a bill. That was way back in '96.
Was that the rooms upstairs you're talking about, the band rooms?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the door was so broke one time we were staying there that we had to put the bed against it to keep it closed. So then anybody coming to party with us or leaving was going through the kitchen window and go on the roof, jump down. It was crazy, man. I don't know how
You
many
could-
things we threw out that window. It's like
I always thought every time I had a shower in that place, I always thought this is gonna fucking fall onto the stage downstairs, and I'm gonna be standing there in my birthday suit, right? Like,
do you
what a
you know
dump
a
that place
guitar
is.
player, Jordan,
Yeah, I knew Jordan Cook.
right?
Yeah,
Jordan, right?
yeah.
So we were playing there. I was playing with Shannon Faith. So Shannon Faith has since moved to Toronto and now lives in Florida, plays with classic albums live, but she had like a solo kind of blues rock thing going on. Myself, Scott Weiber. Do you know Scotty Weiber, bass player from out there?
No.
And Tavis Stanley, guitar player. And we would play like Lydia's in Saskatoon or Bud's. Bud's would always have the matinee. Remember that?
Saturday
You ever play
afternoon.
that? Saturday afternoon matinee. And here comes this kid. And he had to come in the matinee because he was too young to be in a bar. He'd
Yeah.
come up and we played for him, He just ripped that room apart. I'm like, fuck is
Oh yeah, Jordan's a
Oh, his
monster.
name's
Well, he's
Jordan Cook.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Oh, he's,
Well,
a
he's doing
monster.
great
now.
now.
What he's doing is super fucking cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
And I don't like back in those days. I knew him when he's a kid. So we're probably the same age then, because he would come in
How
and
old are you?
49.
See, but
Okay, well there you go.
Right.
Right, I'm right behind you.
yeah, I think we might have been doing that thing the same time because
Yeah, because
It would have been the late 90s.
That's
yeah,
wild.
and I toured there quite a
That
bit
was?
between 95 and 2000. I played um, Buds on Broadway, King Eddie Calgary, uh, Blues on White. Like that was we were there like 3 times, 4 times a year. So I don't know. You know who Russell Jackson is?
I know of.
Yeah, that's who I was touring with. So he's a good
Oh,
friend
right
of
on.
mine. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
playing
far
guitar
out.
with him for till I took off on my solo thing.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no,
What a
that's
small
crazy.
world.
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah,
now the rooms, like, they're the staple rooms out west. When I think out west, I consider Alberta because, like you said, it's hard touring past Alberta. Hard
yeah.
out there. Like in BC, it's like as far as where to go and the rooms that are supporting live music and stuff. I mean, it was tough, and you almost bypassed Vancouver and went straight to the island, and then you
hmm
people that were down to going to see shows and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
BC stands for Bring Cash.
yeah, no
Yes,
doubt.
you're gonna need it.
Not like best cannabis or anything like that, because that's the first
No, well,
that's the first thing I think of when I think of
that's that's
That's
the
fair.
optimistic way of looking at it.
but it seems like, of course, COVID took it with a lot of these places, right?
Yeah.
hmm
I remember during COVID, I was playing with Elton Lammy, heavy music singer, performer, showman. Now lives in Alberta, but he was out here, and he was trying to generate or get up, an idea of how we can still make money and bring. So he ended up buying like a short bus, if you will, like with a.
The little yellow ones they used to send people to school at 2:30.
Yeah, no, not that one. This one's got a ramp. It's got a ramp for a wheelchair, so it's upgraded. So he converted the bus where the band played inside and all camera, and then he would be out on the rip and TV set up outside.
Oh, wow.
So and we were playing like ball diamonds and stuff out there. Just remember doing that drive all the way back to go and play, a half a dozen shows. And it was awesome. It was brilliant that you could still see people wanted to have that. They were starving for it.
Yeah.
Just that social interaction. At the same time out here, we were playing COVID, but we were playing like drive-in. And I remember the first year, the company would come in and they wouldn't have front of house. They would just have in-ear monitor mix, and then they were mixing to the radio station in the cars. And we'd finish a song, and people honking and beeping and flashing their lights, which was super cool and like something I'll probably never experience again in my life. But there was no balls, there was no energy from the PA, there was no, it seemed really thin. So the next year they got a little smarter and they brought full PA, and they still made people park separate and have your own tailgate party, but mingle with people. But at least then they were out dancing, drinks, rocking.
Cool.
Bizarre.
That's amazing.
Time,
Yeah, I can't say I've ever experienced anything like that. But during COVID, I was like, fuck it, I quit. I retire. I realized I didn't need music to survive. So I was like, I think I'm done. Fuck this.
Wow.
But,
That's
that
heavy.
didn't
That's a
work
heavy
out too well.
decision. How do
Yeah,
you live
and
without not playing music, right?
yeah, for me, it was like artistic creation, right? In my line of work, I still get some of those outlets. And then I got to this, I want to play because I want to, not because I have to. And
Right.
then the phone starts ringing and okay.
Off
And
you
now
go
it's
to
like full bore right now.
Ah,
So
yeah,
I got
yeah.
an album on the line again, which I
Oh, right
never
on.
thought I'd do. I never thought I'd waste money on an album again, but I guess I'm
But
going to
here
do
we
it.
are.
Throw it to the
Where are you
wind.
recording it?
I'm
Hello?
actually going to record it in Calgary.
Oh,
Yeah,
where?
so I was supposed to play. There's so the King Eddie used to be the blues club in Calgary, and that closed down probably 25 years ago. And then guy from there, Greg, he opened up a place called the Blues Can, which was the old Ironwood building. down in Inglewood in Calgary. It was, kind of like the live music district. And they ran that place, and New Year's was their last gig. I guess, developer bought the property, but they're opening a new location, and I was supposed to go do the grand opening on March 14th and 15th, but I literally got a call this afternoon that said, city's got to deal with some plumbing stuff, yada, yada, yada. We got to push this out. And the guys I use in Calgary, bass player and drummer, we were just going to go into the studio on the Sunday, record an album. So now I got to push it out to April, but do the same thing, just wait another month for it.
Cool. Who's playing, who's your rhythm section?
I got Kevin Belsner on drums and Bill Price on bass.
You never know. I always have to ask, because,
you never know.
It's a small little industry. You never know who knows who, right?
Yeah, and the Kevin plays a lot with, like, in the blues world, like Big Dave McLean, Tim Williams, like a lot of those guys. Him and another guy, Mike Woodford, percussion drummer guy that I use as well. They were down in Texas and Mexico playing a bunch of flamenco shows. I don't even know what they were doing. I could be wrong about that, but I know they took off.
Probably some tequila involved.
Oh, I'm sure there was a lot.
It better be.
Yeah, for sure. So who are you playing with now? Are you playing with anyone now, or?
Yeah, I honestly, I get called to play
Everyone.
with different people.
Yeah.
I just played a Neil Diamond tribute on the weekend, and I'm out to do a Bob Seger tribute coming up. Next week, I'm playing with an Indigenous rock band, an original rock band that they're just absolutely fantastic, called The Relic.
Nice.
And there's a show that they're having in Toronto, so I'll be doing that. Yeah.
Is that where you are? You're in Toronto?
Well, Mississauga.
Yeah, I don't know I played the Silver Dollar there a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, but no, I didn't spend a lot of time there. Last time I was there was 2014, so it's been a while.
2014.
Yeah.
So Toronto, we've been here for 20 years. My wife and I got married in 2005, and we moved here. It's been the most opportunities that I could ask for anywhere in Canada. Music opportunity.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with the proximity to the United States. Buffalo is 1 hour from my house.
That's crazy.
And the thing is, I think 60% of our flights we take there in the U.S. we'll drive to Buffalo and go to the Buffalo airport. Cheaper flights, easy walk in. Toronto is literally one of the very worst airports I've been in my entire life.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
It's terrible. And I've been to a lot of the big ones, and it's...
Yeah, I could relate. I relate to that because Bellingham's probably an hour from where I live. I've flown out of there quite a bit. Seattle's like 2.5 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so we're not too far. But how do you handle the visas? I haven't dealt with visas for probably 20 years because it just became a disaster. I remember trying to do a visa because I've played the U.S. a lot, and I would book a 3-week tour in the States, and like these 6-night-a-week gigs are gone. So it's like I got 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday. Okay, I'm going to get a visa. And then you get the visa, and then you realize somebody goes, oh, hey, now I found out you're here. Let me book you for a Wednesday. I can't do it. I got to go reapply for my visa. Like, it's insane.
So we P2 work visas for a year. So you have to have signed contracts with venues, agents. You have to have signed contract for every 6 weeks, a month and a half. So every month and a half, you have to have another signed contract for the whole year. So what is that? What is that?
Whatever, like 8 or 10 contracts or something.
Say,
yeah,
you get your visa. If 100 more gigs come through during that time, doesn't matter. It's open at that point. So you just have. You don't have to. If you get 10 more gigs, you don't have to reply or anything. You're just going across working. Once you got your P2 visa, you have your P2 visa. So you need they're saying you need a minimum of one contract every 6 weeks for a calendar year.
Okay.
So any extra you get on top of that, it just
You can do. You just
100%.
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the visa cost you?
Well,
You know?
that's it's getting more and more expensive, but be up to 3,000-4,000.
It's crazy, man.
But
I
I mean,
just
we
got
have
a
20
year visa
people.
to
We have 20 people on our visa. We have 20,
Oh,
like the Bob Singer tribute that I played for. We have a 10-piece band and 10 other subs.
but that's not
So
$2,000, $3,000 a person, is it?
no, that's for the whole thing. Well, that's what I'm saying. You're going to do a P2 visa. Not that I'm trying to cook my goat here, because I'm sure immigration is a little. If you
I'm
could,
sending
you
this
could.
to them.
Oh, how does that? Where's the microphone? I gotta turn that off.
Just mute this one. I'll
But
change the subtitles.
I know. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
drummer trying to sneak. So a buddy of mine, he got a tribute company called the Tribute Stars. Instead of calling it like, Bob Seger, right? Instead of calling it Forever Seger, it's called. And this isn't the same band; it's a different organization. He calls it the Tribute Stars, and he puts 20 people on his P. And he puts together different tributes and acts depending on what he needs. So that way he can he's not just taking on Garth Brooks,
Yeah.
take on Garth Brooks, Cher, Britney
Whatever.
Spears. And that's
name it.
that's a way around it to get the most out of, because then realistically, potentially could have 4 bands working the same. If you
Yeah.
have a 5-piece band with tracks, backing track, you have all 4 of those groups working, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why for me it's been tough, because anywhere I go, I just pick up guys. Just there's no money to travel with a band anymore, at least in my
Right.
genre. So it's like
Right.
I just gotta for work unrelated to music, I gotta go to China in a couple weeks. It cost me $190 for a 1-year business visa to come and go from China. And every time I go, I can stay for 60 days max, and then I just gotta leave for an hour and I could go back. I wish the US was like that. I'd play there way more. I've gone to Washington
Totally.
State and played lots of shows, but I'm like, you got to send me a letter and you can't pay me. I'll just come play for free, and I'll pay my own way just to do something different, right?
And you don't know how much trouble you're going to have to go through to cross the border. But then they
Yeah.
rip you apart still, because then it's like, what do you mean you're not playing for?
Are you accepting gifts?
Well, what are those?
No.
Why don't you know what they are? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it.
a little
Oh,
bit.
I know it. It can be tough. It got real tough after 2001. There's a good story, because you say you heard of Russell Jackson. Remember, we would tour. We had the P2 visas. We'd come and go all the time, and we never had any problems at the borders. And I was young and dumb, and I didn't realize. And I had bought this 44 caliber pistol in the States, right? It was like, oh,
Where's this
no,
going?
yeah, I'll tell you where
I
it's
like
going.
it.
So we shared the same. We had these like you put your clothes out and then it folds over, like for suits and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So and I had almost the same one as Russell, looked very similar, right? So I had this 44, and I was probably 20 years old, and I took the 44 and I stuck it in his bag, zipped it up, right? And then we come across the boat, we come back, we did like 3 months in the States, right? We come back, I was staying at my parents' place. Get out, and I grab his bag. He goes, "Hey, motherfucker, that's my bag. What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, there's something in the bag for you." I pulled out this fucking, Colt 44, right? And give it to my dad. He's like, "You fucking put that in my bag. What happened?" I said, "Man, we crossed the border, and you got like, a 40-year-old black guy and a 20-year-old white guy." Like, he was like, "Next time I'm putting freaking, flour in a bag and sticking it in your bag." He was so mad, right? But that was probably like 97 or 98, right? It was like, I was like, I don't know. I don't think like was it that big of a deal? And just
Were you driving across or flying across?
driving.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, flying out, I never got away with that. That would have
Right.
showed up in the
So
X-ray scans.
we were
Be
playing.
like, is that 2 fingers or 3, sir?
Yeah, listen, I could tell you a story about that, but I'm not gonna. Just not gonna. I'm gonna. That's for the extra
Well,
version of this.
we'll do that on a yeah.
So I was fly gig and we had a layover, and we're always eating shitty. Like it's either gas station food or it's airport food, and it's trying to maneuver through that world, right? So
Yep.
you try and get as healthy as you can. And I go to these pepperoni sticks, right? And I'm eating pepper. I take one bite out of a pepperoni stick. Tastes like shit. Like it's the worst pepperoni stick you've ever tasted in your life. So I'm not going to mention names. The guitar player that was with us.
I'll mention him.
Uh,
Come on.
No,
We'll tag him
no,
in it.
I'm not a fan. But we're going to leave that just like that.
Well,
So
now
anyway,
you got to definitely mention his name.
but I get along with all people, right?
Except for this guy.
No, I get along with him too. But
Oh, okay.
he had that thing about him. Okay, that's you. You be you, I'll be over here. So before I really got to know him, but I was just playing a joke with him. So I eat pepperoni stick. I take a bite of this pepperoni stick. Terrible. I'm like, I don't want these things. Joke. I put the pepperoni sticks in the top zipper of his guitar pouch. So where all the strings go. And I said, God. Now we get to Toronto and we all go through customs immigration. And I remember the one guy saying, do you have anything to declare like meat, vegetables?
Oh, I can only.
So the whole time in my head, I'm like, oh, shit. I just put that in Buddy's guitar. We're all out packed. Like we all got through.
Oh.
Except him. We're waiting on him. And we all got to go to the carpool. He's not coming. Now I'm literally starting to sweat. Like I'm like, oh no, I just fucked this guy over.
You
Like
totally fucked this
like
guy.
he's never gonna work in the States again over this meat. Like
Over a
anyway,
pepperoni stick.
he come out no problem, and nothing was mentioned about the meat. So I never mentioned the thing, and like a couple weeks later, I get the group. Who the fuck put this meat? Let's do it. Oh man,
it's
I thought I
got
took
maggots
this
crawling
down.
around it and shit. Oh fuck, that's funny, man.
Well,
I
that shit's
made-
like wine.
I made pickups. Like, so my guitar has like my own homemade pickups in it. And I'd made these pickups for a buddy of mine in Edmonton, and I was flying to play at Blues on White. And I got to WestJet and I went through the thing, and you know, you take your shoes off and your belt, you're going through the thing, and then all of a sudden I hear this, and they shut the whole fucking thing down, and they're like, excuse me, sir, is this your bag? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you need to come over here, right? They take me into this back room and everything. Then they show me the picture, right? And I didn't even think, you know, like, just imagine a bunch of magnets with wire.
Like an
wrapped
IED.
in it. It looks like a fucking bomb, right? They shut the whole place down.
Oh my
Oh God.
They shut it. I was like, oh my God, fuck. I'm supposed to like, no, like, and I showed them like my guitar case and like all, and I'm like, no. And they're like, no, you got to dispose of these. We can't let you fly with them. We'll either let you throw them in the garbage or
What were
you can ship them out.
What were you saying?
Oh yeah, 2 fingers or 3.
Hello. Hello
Say
to my
hello
little
to my
friend.
little friend. Yeah, Gen X, we know it. Yeah, no, that was fucking.
Fun times, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm so glad that like the technology we have today wasn't really around back then. Because
Holy
could
man.
you imagine if, you know, and I'm not American, but you know, if we become the 51st state, I'll plead the 5th on this one.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
like
Way up north.
if yeah, way up north. If we had film for the shit we did in the 90s,
Oh, forget about it.
No.
I'm so glad phones weren't around.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
would have been canceled a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It
You
would
get
not
it.
have been good.
You
But
get
what
it,
a
man.
time.
Oh, I know.
You know, I talked to my kids. It's like, we used to have, I would tell them we used to have bush park. Like
Yeah.
what are we doing tonight? Oh, we're going to go to the gravel pile and bring a bunch of pallets and
Yeah.
beer. That was
Start a. Oh
fucking
yeah,
fun. Don't do
yeah.
that. Not
No,
around here anyway. Don't do that.
No,
I
they don't do
I
it here
remember.
either.
So my oldest two girls are 18 and 19 now. And years ago, they said to me, they're like, "Dad, when can I get a cell phone?" And I said, "When you can afford to pay for it yourself." And then she goes, "Well, how old were you when you got a cell phone?" I said, "I was 19." She goes, "What? Why so old?" And my younger one goes, "Dad was born in the 19s." I know. I was
You
like,
have to save a number following it.
no, they didn't have cell phones back then. Dad was born in the 19s.
Listen, I remember having a phone, Motorola bag phone, in my car, and I had to get the antenna installed, like that. One phone call was like $8 for a minute. It was
Yeah.
stupid.
Oh, I
That
know.
thing was so ridiculous.
Those original Motorola's were like, "Yeah, hey, hold on a sec, I'm getting mugged."
Yeah.
You
My
could
first
whack
one was
somebody
the
with
Big
big
gray
it.
ones.
brick. The
Yeah, the
big
big
brick.
brick
Yeah.
gray ones.
Yeah,
You guys, have
the
you
huge
seen
brick
Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the one guy's going, "Hey, a lot of this, I got a cell phone on the hill," and it's one of those gray ones there. Like he's holding it like this.
Oh, check this out. I gotta go this. This is one of the. This is a. My kids were talking about an iPad. This is a 160 gig iPod.
Oh,
Sorry,
I got one of those. That's the
like
silverback.
one
I
of
have
the
the same one, brother.
one of the original iPods. You
Yeah.
believe that? Like
Feel like
this
there's got to be a use for that.
yeah, this is it, there is a use. It's called James's retirement fund. I'm going to sell it on eBay in another 10 years for
For
hopefully a lot of money.
$3.
Hey, no, come on. Somebody will want an artifact
Yeah,
from the
that stuff,
19s.
man. We're keep piling up the landfill because
Yeah.
look at like gaming system.
Mhm.
The old.
Oh, crazy.
Well, now people are trying to recollect the
Yeah, they've circled back
Atari and
around.
yeah, but I mean, like, how many PS3s do you think are in a landfill? Like, holy fuck!
No.
And cell phones, forget about that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well,
Stupid.
that's the neighbor.
On over there.
Shut up. Shut up.
It's the neighbor's wife.
Someone dared walk down the street. Thing is I have a film over my window so he can't actually see out the glass. But if he fires his eyeball right up to it, he can see shapes as they go by.
Just himself.
It's just this is a lunatic basset hound.
Oh, Basset Hound. There you go.
Yeah,
They're loud.
I like a hound dog.
So my mom had one.
A basset hound?
Bogey. Same with Bogey.
Ours is Skeeter.
Get your Bogey.
Well, and his brother's name
Skeet,
was
skeet.
Boog.
Skeet, skeet.
Yeah.
Sounds like a character in Fubar. That Fubar movie.
Yeah, man. We're going to have to get you out to BC.
For sure.
Oh. I love
Yeah,
that. I just love it out there so much.
We'll find a way to get the gigs
Incredible.
to pay for it, so you
I
and Dee can
know.
meet up and.
Yeah.
We're coming out. I'm coming out to Alberta in June.
Where are you playing in
Calgary
Alberta?
Medicine,
Okay.
Calgary Medicine Hat at Calgary. We're playing at the Grey Eagle Casino.
Okay, so you're doing casino gigs. What kind of band is it?
Casino and theater and outdoor festivals. That's the Bob Seger.
We should try and line you up with shit here. We got a couple casinos that do that kind of stuff. and-
Yeah. I think it's only a matter of time because this new agent that these guys got, booking right across.
Yeah, get
Nice.
you out here.
Wait. I play a lot in the East Coast as well. I think it was like the first 15 years I was out here. I had never been east of Montreal. Ever. Not for vacation, not for a game. And all of a sudden, just happened where now I'm out there 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Wow.
It just exploded and it happened. It's the most bizarre thing ever.
So you've got this and you've got your coffee company. Are those the two things that you live off of, or do you have
Well,
a
the coffee company got so busy that the coffee company is just floating there doing its own. It went
oh,
from during COVID, my partner and I, we had a lease sign for a brick and mortar in Hamilton, Ontario. It's called the GTA here.
okay.
There's Toronto, which is the GTA, Greater
Yeah,
Toronto Area. And then there's the
Yeah.
GTHA, Greater Toronto and Hamilton area.
Hamilton.
And it's like
Yeah.
Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton. Nothing here to travel. Probably similar to Vancouver. It's like could live or work in Vancouver and have to commute an hour and a half out of the city,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and nothing stops. It's just town after town. Well, it's just like that here.
Mm.
So we had a brick and mortar sign for Hamilton, and our launch date was April 2nd, 2020. That's when we were
Oh,
opening the doors. If you do the math, that's right.
right at
COVID,
COVID. Yeah,
March
like in
13th.
March. Yeah,
March
yeah.
13th, they shut
Yeah.
the world down.
Exactly.
So, luckily enough, our bass player friend of ours was a real estate agent, got us out of the lease.
Oh,
So we
nice.
had to pivot, and we didn't mean to become an online coffee company. We had to pivot and become an online coffee company. And then we fought for 2 years to try and figure out how to, we weren't our business model anything to do with delivering coffee door to door. It was
Mhm.
a coffee shop. Come get your coffee. Yeah, we could sell it online, but that was not primary.
Right.
So that was a struggle. And, the shipping costs, everything just went skyrocket. All materials started going skyrocket from bags to boxes to even the packing tape, you name it, through the roof where the profit margins were so little. So the coffee company went from retail online to just servicing a few corporate accounts, like a couple of universities and a canoeing camp up north. So really, basically, it's kind of doing its own. It doesn't take us so much attention. So most of my attention, music, or if when I'm home, teaching.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's what I'm always on the road playing. So
Yeah,
that's majority of.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to make a living at music. My body's getting and it's not even the playing the drums. It's the traveling in airplane,
Traveling.
Yeah.
car seats, and yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I always said that to my friends. They were like, "Oh man, what a life! You're touring around." I'm like, man, all I see is fucking airports and airplanes and gas stations and
Venues,
venues,
turn around,
backstage.
go right back. Yeah,
Do it
like
again. Yeah.
last weekend or the weekend before, I was in Florida. I played a show. It was warm, by the way, 14 degrees Celsius
Oh, wow.
for
Oh, yeah,
Florida.
they had a
Cold for Florida.
snowstorm.
That's cooler, right? So anyway, we were there, and everybody here is like, "Oh, well, you're away from the snow, and you're getting." It's just like literally, I'm going from the airport into a rental vehicle, 1 hour out to a hotel. Then I'll stay till I get back in the van to go to the venue, sound check, stay at the venue, play the show, come back, go to bed, wake up. Probably, well, when we left, we were woke at 4 a.m. because we had an hour drive to Orlando and a 7:20 flight, and then home.
Brutal.
Like the reverse thing. But sometimes you get to stay longer. And sometimes you have multiple gigs in one spot, so you get a day to enjoy it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Chill out or something. Yeah. Yeah, I remember in 2014. Well, when I said the last time I went to Toronto was 2014, I was nominated for a Juno in the
Oh,
blues
congrats,
in the
brother.
blues category, and I literally left my house. I drove to the airport. I flew to Toronto. Went from Toronto to wherever the Junos were at the time. Did the little meet and greet and all that shit that went on, and when it was done, I went straight back to the airport. I got on the plane, flew back to Vancouver, and I was in my house in less than 24 hours.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Turn and burn.
Turn, turn and burn. Yeah, I
That's
didn't
it.
even take clothes.
I don't know how they let you on the plane like that, but whatever, man.
Yeah,
I'm not judging.
my birthday suit the whole way.
I got nothing on me.
Yeah. Is that 2 fingers or 3?
This guy's getting the whole fist.
Yeah, give me 2 deep coughs.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Fucking terrible. That's funny. Jesus. So back to your guys' fucking situation here, man. Brother and sister. That's fucking crazy, man. When Dee told me
That's
that, I was
super
like,
cool.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
is.
was overwhelming. It was very overwhelming, but welcoming overwhelming, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
It does to
It was
me
awesome, but it was just
a lot. And there's a lot of
holy
people in this family, like a lot of people in this family. And suddenly, like my sons and I were inundated with private messages and added to 15 different groups, and and some of the relatives are post like 15 times a day, and like all positive, but it just like a lot.
It's a lot.
It was a
It's a
lot.
lot to absorb, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was sad because so our father was a twin, and I had really hoped to meet her, his twin sister, but she ended up passing. Um, and watching that happen on Facebook, and getting all the updates on that, and it was like, ah, this sucks.
yeah, she was
She sure seemed like it. If our dad was anything like her.
well, nobody was really like him.
No?
He was a very unique, special human being. The Bill.
Well, what's her name? Charlotte, his best friend?
Charlene, yeah.
Charlene, yeah. Yeah, she sure felt that way. I haven't talked to
Yeah.
her in a while. Is she okay? You talked to her?
She's good, yeah. She's going to come out to the Calgary show.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. How
Gotta
far is
tell
it
ya.
to Calgary?
I'd tell you, I'm just thinking the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute, Calgary. So, James, you should get a show at the Blues Can at the same, the
then
off
the
day of
VAT.
that weekend, and then on the way back, we can hit Banff and meet up with Brent Lee, and like we could make a
Yeah.
weekend of this,
You
man.
could make it work.
When are you playing Calgary? You've already got it booked, right? Yeah, get your
Actually,
dates, man.
there's some stuff happening. Like it's a brew going on. I think June 22nd.
April,
That's a
May.
Sunday.
June
No,
14th.
14.
Okay, that's a Saturday.
I don't have. Oh, that's Father's Day weekend. I don't care.
Oh.
I don't have a dad.
I
I'm
don't
good.
care. I don't care. Well, I just got bumped this afternoon to play Calgary, April 25, 26, June, 2 months. It's early, but maybe I usually play there 2 or 3 times a year. But
Well,
in Calgary at the Blues Can, yeah. But it's a new venue now, and I keep getting bumped because they haven't opened yet. They've been closed since New Year's.
Oh, that's the
When
one
they-
you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they finished New Year's at their old location, and then they built their new location, but there's a bunch of logistics going sideways, I think, which is to be expected.
Have either one of you seen or been through or near a Jasper since the fire?
Not since the fires, no.
That's going to be a real trip. Because I love Banff, but there's something about Jasper. I just love it so much more.
no,
You
really.
remember Pete's place in Jasper?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's where I would always play. That place was so good. I got chased by elk in that town. I used to where the band house
course.
was. I cut across the school field from the band house,
Right.
and I remember all of a sudden I could hear this like one elk is like going ringing nuts, right? And all of a sudden, I hear. I look back, and there's all these female elk. They just come running, and I remember laying down with my guitar case. They were jumping over,
Wow.
like on the side of this fence. They were all jumping over, and I was wearing a suit
Whoa.
in those days. I don't dress up for nothing anymore, but I was wearing a suit back then, and I showed up, and I was all dirty, and they're all like, "What the fuck happened to you?" Right? And I'm like, "Oh, I had to lay down in some mud."
Holy sh-
Wow.
You're a lucky boy, man.
Oh, I know.
We'd always play at the back,
Oh yeah,
the hotel, yeah, which that burnt down. My
I think it did.
fucking
Yeah,
out my ass.
It did. Yeah, no,
What
I think
shit?
it did. You ever play Fernie?
No,
Fernie, BC. Fernie, BC.
been
I
there.
remember. Yeah, I remember playing a venue. I played Fernie for a year, 1 week.
It was one of those, was it?
Yeah, it was one of those.
Oh my!
And I walked into the bathroom, and I'm standing there, and I'm taking a piss, and there's all these like seat cushions from this bar seats up on the walls above the urinals, and I'm like, "What is this?" And then towards the end of the night, I see some guy standing there taking a piss, and he's leaning his head on the seat.
Oh, way
And I'm like, now I know what the seat cushions are for. For all the
funny.
drunk motherfuckers standing there like,
Isn't that fucked? That you can still stay standing up though. Like, how do you not fall right over?
I don't know. It's just a little sway. You know, if you put your head on that cushion, it kind of holds you together, right?
Oh, that.
That's
You
good.
know, Jesse Rhodes out there, blue
Jesse
guy.
Jesse Roper or Jesse Rhodes?
Rhodes.
No, I don't know. I know Jesse Roper, but not a Jesse Rhodes. In BC?
Yeah, well, Alberta, Calgary.
Alberta? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that. My artist connection in Calgary is limited compared to Vancouver. Not in the city anymore that I'm
No,
aware of. Everything's in the burbs. The demographics have changed so much. Everything got pushed out.
Like,
You know, it's all
where is there things happening?
White Rock, Surrey, New West, Maple Ridge, Mission, Abbotsford.
Okay.
We've got
Like-
2 places here in Ridge that are pretty, like the Wolf Bar that Doug works in. My son is really dedicated to live music every weekend.
Yeah.
The Haney Hotel brings in bands maybe once a month, maybe sometimes twice a month. But the Wolf is every weekend.
Very
They're
cool.
they're at one point called the Commodore of the Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of a place you can kind of rock out and crank up. You know, you're not playing under a Keno board where it's like, hey, the hockey game's on. Can you turn down?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, you know, Vancouver's like you were talking about, like Toronto and then all the cities, you know, lined up for it. Vancouver's got like a GVRD, Greater Vancouver Regional District, right? And
Oh,
it's the same thing. You go from Vancouver, Burnaby, you know, Surrey,
Right.
Langley, Abbotsford, Maple Ridge, yada yada, all the way out to until you start getting to Hope and then out to Kamloops and Kelowna area. But yeah, most of it's in the burbs. Like, you know, back in the day, there was some blues clubs. I'd always go downtown, but now downtown feels like an out of town gig. You got to pay me more to show up there because it takes me like take me 2 hours to drive to Vancouver in traffic, and I'm only 30
Yeah.
kilometers away.
you're only 30 kilometers. Holy,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
wow.
fucking insane.
But damn, I love that. Like, I
Wow.
love
You
that.
haven't been here for a while.
Well, you know what? Like, I'm sure that, like, there's the people that change and all that. But what I love about it is, like, the fact it's ocean, sea, and mountain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can be in one spot, see all 3 of those things at one,
Yeah.
Yeah, and get
And-
all
and
4
that-
seasons.
and probably get, you know, rape and mugged
Yeah.
too. I get that.
And
but,
buy any drug you want.
yeah, I mean, like, you know, I mean, our dad lived in some pretty interesting places.
I heard.
He's off of Davie Street. He lived at Main Terminal. Seen some pretty
Oh.
crazy shit. One of our
You lived down
cousins, Calvin, which is brother to me,
Okay.
but he's a brother to me. He had a loft in Gastown for a long time,
Oh, cool.
and go visit him. And that, I mean, literally, you could either go this way to a steam clock and fudge, or you can go this way and get your crack and heroin, and probably not survive. Like there was one block one way, one block the other,
Yeah.
very close, you know.
Yeah.
But Vancouver compared to Toronto has this edge, raw to it that, you know,
Yeah.
Toronto's got the corporate,
That's what I was going to say. It's much more
you know?
corporate there. No
Yeah.
matter where you
Mhm.
go, there's much more corporate flavor there.
Totally, yes.
Yeah.
And there's I don't know, there's an edge and an artsy rawness to Vancouver.
Yeah.
That I just love. I love that.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
The music industry was there. Like, when Jill and I got married 20 years ago, we were in Asia. So I was in Southeast Asia and the Middle East for 3 years. I didn't come home. I just played hotel contracts in all these different countries. I decided I wanted to come home and I wanted to like do some Canadian music industry before it was too late. And I was just living out of, we were 4-month contracts, but you're still living suitcase to hotel to suitcase. I just want to change. So a friend of mine at the time was playing for Big Rec. He's a guitar player that played at Bud's, Saskatoon. Yeah. He said, got to move to Toronto, like where it's happening, where the rock scenes happen. I think 20 years ago, that's 2005. If that would have been a reverse and I had a friend say, oh, you got to move to Vancouver, like it's happening here and you can make a living, like all those things, no question. Because
Right.
I'd been to Toronto before that. And no offense to Toronto, no offense to Toronto people, but the experience I had prior was concrete and pollution.
Right.
Because I was constantly just on 401 highways, 407 highways, and not knowing the infrastructure. And then all of a sudden you pop up in this city that's a city with a lot of pollution and had that vibe to it, right? So I
Right.
said to myself, I'd never move there ever in my life. Been here 20 years.
Did I? That's how that goes. Did I see you played in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Okay. So again, being out here, the opportunities, people are just, there's connections here and things that happen. So I was teaching at a place called T-Rock Academy, and the bass player, really one of my best brothers from another mother, Nick Charnogorski, heavy bass player. He said he got a call. We were out having a smoke, and he got a call, and I listened. He's dropping a little. Yeah, when's those dates? Blah blah blah. No, I don't think I can do it. Phone. And then I'm like, what was it? He goes, oh, it's my buddy Colin Amy. He asked if I could do a trip to Afghanistan. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Afghanistan. Do they need a drummer? And he goes, well, I don't know, let me check. So he calls him back. Sure as shit, they needed a drummer. So
Nice.
I met Colin Amy at the time. And Colin Amy had in the 90s in the country world. And then Thomas, the band that was put together. We also had fiddle players. We had comedians. And we were going over to play for the troops and support the troops. So it was Thomas Wade was another guy. He also had Wayward Son in the 90s in the country world. Matt Minglewood from the East Coast. He's a blues cat.
Yeah.
And then a couple East Coastern fiddlers, a French country girl. And then so we went to Trenton Military Base here in Ontario, performed for 2 nights, rehearsed, then performed, and then flew in Army plane, 737, with our gear to Camp Mirage, which was just outside of Dubai. And we played a couple shows there and got suited up with our flak jackets and helmets and all this shit. And then got on a C-37, flew into theater and went into Kandahar first and played a couple shows. Had a rocket attack during one of our performances.
Oh.
Diane Chase was another one of the artists. And I remember my mom was watching the feed from back home, and they had to cut the feed because we
Oh
had a rocket
no.
attack come onto the base.
Oh,
And
your
we
poor
all had to
mom.
run, and they cut the feed, and she was watching it. Sirens are going off. We had to run to the bunker and take cover, and then they clear it. They know that there's no problem. Show
Yeah.
starts back up. We finished the night off.
Wow.
Then we went
Whoa.
to Kabul and forward operating bases where we went in black helicopters and flew to the forward
Wow.
operating bases and performed for them. And
What
yeah,
an experience.
it changed my life. It changed my
Crazy.
life.
Yeah.
So we were playing for ISAF. ISAF is International Secured Associated Forces. So it's the
Okay.
U.S., the Canadians, the New Zealanders, the Aussies, the French, the Belgians, like all the different people involved in that war, all the different countries involved in that war. So we performed for all of them.
Wow.
10,000 people, like 10,000 people on the base. We didn't play for 10,000 because they're all on duty, but that's how big the base was. Like a
Wow.
small little town. Yeah.
Wow.
That changed my life to see what we were doing there and us Canadians were doing there.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Wow. Oh,
Oh, we
did
lost.
we lose? Did we
Yeah,
lose the big guy?
We lost.
I'm taking over.
There you go. Yes. Now it's your podcast.
Well, I see that our hour is up. I don't know if
Yes.
he's going to come back or not, but Ed, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Uh,
Fun.
Absolute pleasure. I'm really glad you got to meet James too, because
Yeah.
it's such a small world, the music world. I'm actually new into it myself. I just got invited to a jam, not last summer, but the summer before, and was like, hey, this live music thing is pretty cool.
But what are you
And
doing? What do you mean? What you got?
like, as in,
Yeah,
I had never gone to any local live music.
Oh shit.
Never. It's just
Oh,
not
that was
not a part of my world. So yeah, and then I met James and we started working together on this because I love his passion. And he reminds me so much of my son because Doug has ADHD and he's the same in that he's full of these brilliant ideas and and James is very much like that. And so like we connected and I love his wife. She's just an absolute doll, you know. So when he asked me if I wanted to work with him on this podcast, because this will be, I think, episode 27 or 28.
How
So
often
it's
does it air? Like
once a
that
week.
fall?
Comes out
Oh,
once
okay.
a week. Yeah. So I'll message you when
Of
yours comes
course.
out. I'll send you the link to it and tag you in it. But yeah, so wild that you crossed my algorithm on that day. I'm so glad that it happened and we got to spend another hour getting to know you a little bit better. Love it. Love
Love
it.
it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. All right.
Yay.
Well, I don't think he's coming back, but tell him
I don't think so.
adios. And
Okay.
remind
I
him
will.
the next time I see him, maybe he'll get 3 fingers. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. You have a great rest of your
Yeah.
night. Say hi to Jill for me.
I will.
Okay,
Down in the
bye-bye.
boys.
Yes, I will. Bye-bye.